My name is Lovelle J. I like to start off with prayer so God can send the message that he wants to send and not the one that I want to send. So if we can take a moment, I'd appreciate it. Heavenly Father, first and foremost, we want to thank you for giving us another shot at life. We humbly ask you to guide us through this time of challenge. Help us to have strength and to be obedient so we can get back to some new normalcy around here. Help me, Lord, to send a message of hope. Help someone out there to be able to hear the message of hope so that life can be changed and they can live a more flourishing and enjoyable life. Amen. Thank you, God, and I love you for everything. Everything. Step 7, we humbly turn our shortcomings over to the care of God. Shortcomings. I didn't know what shortcomings was some 20 years ago. Shortcomings I found out to be characteristics, areas of my life that can cause my self-harm. To give you an example, defensiveness is a defect of character or character defect. I had a friend who used to say, your character is defected. And my character does have some defections in it. Back to the defensive portion of what I was going to share. I can recall being in a relationship and my girlfriend came in and asked me and said, Lovelle, I was just wondering why you didn't wash the dishes. And my thinking and my defective character defensiveness kicked in. All she did was ask me a question. All I needed to do was answer the question, but I reacted instead of responding. And I reacted and I said, well, what you mean why I didn't wash the dishes? What you saying, I don't know how to wash dishes? What you saying I'm nasty? You saying I'm not a cleanly person? I looked for all the negative in the question. It was a simple question. When later on, as I worked on that area, I found out that all I had to say was the truth. And that was that I don't like doing dishes. You know, I'll do laundry, I'll mop floors, I'll clean windows, I'll vacuum, wash walls. But washing dishes is at the bottom of my list of things to do. So I could have, if I would explain that, which I think escalated into an argument, and I'm quite sure at that time, I can't remember, it's been a while ago. But my defensive character causes me, not only does it cause me uncomfortability, it can cause others uncomfortability, like I did with my girlfriend, going off on her about asking me about washing dishes. When it was very simply to explain why I didn't wash the dishes. And another defensive connected with that is, it makes me feel when someone asks me a question about something that either I didn't do or I didn't do up to par, I get this feeling inside of me that I am not good enough. I am a failure. I didn't complete the task to the best of my ability. And I had to take a look at that. And that's where the humility part comes in at. And I can't look at anything if I don't have any humility. Because the opposite of humility, ego. So if I got ego, I have no humility. And therefore, if I got ego, I don't need to take a look at anything because I have all the answers to the questions and I'm good. which is never the case. So I had to get some humility through the previous steps, which set me up to be able to receive humility into my spirit. And then once I received the humility in my spirit, beautiful thing to have humility. I forget this quote is something, humility is to, I forget, water, humility is to spirituality as water is to food is to living. Like, I can't remember exactly how I said, but the point of the quote is, you can't live without humility if you don't want to enjoy life, if you don't want to be happy, if you don't want to spread love and joy. I try to have humility in my life as much as possible, because it makes me feel serene. It makes me feel the okay to be obedient. It makes me feel understanding, compassionate towards my kids. Humility can take you a long way, and I'm grateful for humility, not the word, the actual action of humility, and the things to do in humility, the thank you, excuse me, please, you're welcome. That's practicing humility. I'm not no better than you are. So step 7 is where I have to surrender and allow God to do surgery on me. Because there's always something to get better at. I'm never going to be perfect. I'm grateful for that. Never going to be perfect. Give you another story, real life situation. Not proud of this, but somebody's out there struggling with it. I'm not perfect with it today. I've gotten much better over the years. Womanizing. Let's talk about it. Womanizing. I recall being in Westmont, Illinois at the West Suburban Alamo Club. I might have had about 4 years or something like that. And God whispers to me. I call it the whisper. And he whispered in my ear and he said, Lovelle, why don't you look up at the balcony? They had a balcony. He said, look up at the balcony. There's one of the girls that you took it. I'm not going to use the word took advantage, but there's one of the girls that you hurt her feelings. Okay, I see her. Look over there to the far left. There's another girl that you were with intimately, and you hurt her too. And I was like, ooh. He said, hold up. There's one more in here. She's right there. Look over there. And I looked and I saw a third woman at a meeting, sitting in the meeting at the same time. And I had a moment of yuckiness. Matter of fact, I got a piece in here that talks about that. Here we go. The whole emphasis of step 7 is on humility. It is really saying to us that we ought to be willing to try humility in seeking the removal of our shortcomings, womanizing, just as we did when we admitted that we were powerless over our addiction or gambling or sex or alcohol. Greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. The sanity piece I struggled with because my view of insane was the guys in my neighborhood that did things like direct traffic, and they had no badges, but they would get out in the middle of the street and direct traffic and act crazy and do different sorts of things. So I didn't feel that I was insane. And if you talk to yourself, I felt that that was a form of insanity. Um, I, I, I didn't do that early on, talking to myself. But uh, I had to come to grips that there was some non-sanity in my active addiction, because I had to go back and replay some of the things that I did in my mind. I'm not going to share them. This is about step 7, not about horror stories. But I rewind some footage and I looked at some things that I had done with my shortcomings: stealing, manipulation, robbery, um, you name it, it happened pretty much. Hurting others. Um, and I look back and I replay those some of those moments, and I was like, that was really insane. You know, jumping through windows when I should go through the door. That's pretty insane. So once I was around people that were like me and I was able to hear their stories, I was able to go back and take another look at some of the things and found out that there's a problem. I'm always going to have some type of shortcomings. You know, watching the clock because I don't want to go over my some of the other shortcomings that I may have today. Impatient, and it doesn't help me, and it doesn't help the person that I'm being impatient with. Because, give you an example, I always like to talk about real life. My son, if I ask him to do something, or my daughter, and it's not done the way I want it to be done, and I was just reading the passage that says everybody is not like you. Nobody does things the same. Somebody's cleaner than you, somebody's less cleaner than you. That's just the way it is. So I'll ask my daughter or my son to do something, and they don't do it quite the way I would like for them to do it. So I would go in there and clean their rooms the way I want them to be done. And they already know that if I don't, it's to the point now where I'm feeling where if they don't do a great job, they know that dad's gonna come and finish it off and do it the right way. So I'm not helping my kids. I'm not helping me because I'm putting more on my plate, which I don't mind doing that right now. I got plenty of time to do that. But the point is, they're not going to learn how to do that stuff unless I take a look at that shortcoming and say, you know what, I need to, if I'm going to do it, I need to have them come in there with me, walk them through the way things should be done properly, and do it that way. And not only do I do it at home, I've done it at place of employment. I hold people's hands, codependent to others, shortcoming. If it's not done work right at my place of employment, instead of, I'm not going to use the word reprimand, but instead of pointing out to the individual that, hey, this should be done this way, let me show you, I'll just go do it. They never learn that that was the way it was supposed to be done from the jump street. So now I've created a situation whereas they're doing it the same way and I'm going to go pick up the pieces. So there's a couple of things, home and work, I need to do in that area with my shortcomings. And now that I've talked about them out loud, he's always listening, but once he see me expose myself, and friends, they will say, how you doing with that shortcoming? And then I have to start working on things. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. If I do nothing as far as action, it's going to be the same way. Because I think of wonderful things all the time, things that I could do to do better in that area. I just don't always carry out the action of the thought. it's to a point now where in my life where let's get it done before there's any self-inflicted pain or more self-inflicted pain. You know? Shortcomings will always be there. It's just going to be how much work am I going to do in order for me to be a better rounded person. You know? And there is other, about 10 minutes over, there is other shortcomings in my life that may not pop up right now. Probably once I'm done with this segment, I'll go to the other part of the house and go, oh, I forgot all about that one. And I'm sure we'll have time in the future to go over some of the other defects of character or shortcomings. I really like to call them defected character because my character is defected. Now, how do I get it undefected? I have to read things that will help me to get in action with it. I have to get with others that have been through that defective character and ask them how did they get from doing that to not doing that. That's where the humility piece comes in also. I have to have enough humility. Excuse me. I deal with mostly men. That's just my choice. I do have female friends that I do talk to. It's not anonymous. It's a friendship, nothing else involved in it. And I have a couple of those that I do bounce things off of, but my majority of networking is with men because men understand men and women understand women more so. So when I get with men that have been where I've been and I haven't got where they're at now, I have to ask them, how do you do that? It's a real simple question. You don't womanize anymore? How do you do that? Can you share that with me? Help me. You know, that's what it's all about. Helping each other. It's not, for me, it's not about, I got the information, you can't have it. No, I have the information. I've been through the experience. I know what the action is to get better. Let's sit down and let me give this to you freely because it was given to me freely. And that's my job. My job today is, as many of us are working for God. And I love it. You know, can't wait to get back out to CR, and see the faces and just be a part of something that's been remarkable for over the last 20 years. I haven't been there, it's been going for 20. I can't remember how long I've been there. It's been a little while though. But humility has to be in my life. And humility, humble, those two, one in one hand, another in another hand.
Find the paper yourself.
You can stay home.
So I try as much as I can to be in the action of being humble.
When you let them go, they get fired off. They start out, and they just.
So in closing,
Looking inward.
There's 5 things that I have learned that will keep you clean. So you can get to the humility part. So you can get to step 7 and get rid of some of those shortcomings. You're not going to get rid of them all in 3 days. That's not going to happen. Some left me a little earlier than others. That probably caused me more pain than some of the others. Some took me maybe 20 years to even really say, you know what, this is not working. So here's the 5 things. 5 things that will guarantee a clean day from anything that I ain't talking about, we're not just talking about narcotics and alcohol. I'm talking anything from Doritos. If you pick up a bag of Doritos, you can't put it down. Eating disorders and stuff like that. Gambling, I know people that have serious gambling problems. But we can take these 12 steps and apply this to anything that is overwhelming and that we are doing and excessively, obsessively, too much. And that's get on your knees and pray. Go to a 12-step program. Talk to the 12-step program people that are in that meeting. Do not start the reaction of the thing that you are struggling with. What does he mean by that? If you have a gambling problem, don't go inside the gambling house. If you have a narcotic problem, don't go where they sell narcotics. This is the start of the process. If you got problems with sweets, don't go in that aisle at the grocery store. So there's things that and you can't do it by yourself. That's why you have to network with people that are going through what you're going through. And the main thing is to ask God to help you not go in those places. And if you see you have some kind of willingness, he will take the rein and guide you in another direction. And 5, most important, don't start that process. Do not, if it's whatever it is, don't put it inside of your spirit. If you don't put it inside your spirit, you don't have to worry about how do I get it out. It's not in there if you don't put it in there. Thank CR for all the blessings over the years, all the friendships that I've accumulated through CR, community recovery. It's going to be a challenge, but I'm looking forward of getting the people back transported to what we do, and that's helping people and helping each other. You know, seeing somebody you haven't seen, and you see that, get that smile, or you do that special handshake, or that special hello to somebody. You know, those little things like that, and God's gonna get it all together for us. We just got to listen and be obedient and follow what He wants us to do, and we'll get back at it. So, thank God for everything. Like I said earlier, when I say everything, I mean everything, good, bad, or indifferent. Because if I don't get all that in, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. And I feel good about the person that I am, but I'm still working on being a better person. You know, because it's always about getting better spiritually. So, thank you very much for allowing me to share.